WCBI News at 6 starts now.
This is an aerial view of the Starkville Stand Up March. Thousands of people marched, held signs, and chanted, demanding justice, equality, and an end to unfair treatment by police. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Cash Matlock. Protesters walked from Unity Park in downtown Starkville to the MSU Amphitheater. Once there, several speakers took the stage, including Representatives Sheck Taylor and Kabir Kareem. Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill and MSU President Dr. Mark Keenum also spoke. There was also a tribute to George Floyd, the black man shown on video dying as a Minneapolis police officer kneeled on his neck for more than 8 minutes. At today's rally, protesters lay on their stomachs for nearly 9 minutes as Floyd's last words were read aloud. Attendees say today's march is only the beginning.
I just hope that everybody here, you see a lot of diversity here, I just hope that everybody here takes away that we can come together at the end of the day, and unity is the big word for that, and that we can all show our support together, and it doesn't have to be one side versus the other side.
It makes me filled with hope that if we keep going and give young people a chance to have their voice heard, change is going to come.
It just means a lot to see everybody coming out. It's a decent turnout, because honestly I didn't think this many folks were going to come, but I'm just glad we had this many people actually come out. It's just good to see a lot of people.
The event began at 10 a.m. and wrapped up around 2 p.m. Hundreds of protesters also gathered in downtown Tupelo, joining the fight against systematic racism. They marched from the Lee County Courthouse to Fair Park. The goal of today's event was to create a visual demonstration of unity in a fight against inequality and injustice in our systems of government. Hannah Mahari is a spokesman for the Indivisible of Northeast Mississippi, which organized the event.
Well, I feel like there are problems throughout the nation. Systemic racism is one of them. If we can start and just make sure that our community is equitable as possible to every citizen that lives here, that's the start. And then we're going to go to the state and we're going to the national level as well.
Mahari said they also expect more transparency, accountability, and communication from our systems of government. Residents in Sulligent also took to the streets today for a peaceful protest. Attendees say they walked from Front Street, past City Hall and the police station, over to the walking track at Sulligent High School. Once there, they silently walked around the track for over 8 minutes in remembrance of George Floyd. Guest speakers included Councilman Nathaniel Taylor, Faye Arnold, and Abby Hankins. The event was organized by McKenna Clark, and Mayor Scott Bowman was also present at the walk. The event took place from 2 to 3:30 this afternoon. Well, nationally, a second memorial for George Floyd took place in North Carolina today. Natalie Brand has more details from Washington, D.C.
George Floyd's family and friends remembered his life Saturday in the North Carolina town where he was born.
I've seen what's going on in this country, and though my family has been saddened by the news, this is just an allergic reaction to an ongoing issue in the United States. Just like the coronavirus, police brutality has yet to find a cure.
Floyd's death under the knee of a police officer has sparked more than a week of demonstrations over police brutality and racial inequality. This is what it looked like today in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and even overseas in London.
Black power! All day, every day, from now on.
Peaceful protesters have filled the newly renamed Black Lives Matter Plaza. This expected to be the biggest day of demonstrations yet in our nation's capital.
We matter. My children matter. Their future matters.
Anita Mingo and her husband Wahan Dansby brought their children to see democracy in action.
What does change look like to you?
When we read about this in a history book, when we've forgotten about it and have to be reminded of what had to happen in 2020 for change to happen.
As many as 300,000 people filled the streets of Washington, D.C., from the U.S. Capitol to national monuments to the White House.
People can protest peacefully. This is the United States of America.
National Guard soldiers carried shields in case demonstrations turned violent.
I think you can see that people are coming down to Black Lives Matter Plaza for a peaceful protest and to address their grievances with the government.
As protesters call for police reform, 2 Buffalo, New York police officers were charged with a felony count of assault after video showed them shoving a 75-year-old demonstrator to the ground. Some have accused the district attorney of choosing protesters over police.
I'm on this country's side. That's whose side I'm on. I'm on justice's side.
Supporters of the officers cheered as they exited the court. Natalie Bren, CBS News, Washington.
While House and Senate Democrats say they will unveil police reform laws Monday, George Floyd will have a public visitation in Houston that same day.
Well, some pretty nice weather out there, plenty of sunshine and blue sky, but it was warm out there, and we're still warm out there now. 89 here in Columbus. We're still 90 up to the north, 93 in Houston, 91 in Tupelo, 90 in New Albany right now, and we are 87 for our friends over to the east in Vernon, Alabama. The good news is right now, nothing going on the radar. Take a look at these clouds, though, coming in from the south. That's going to continue overnight tonight, and all of that is coming in from Tropical Storm CRISTOBAL. That is right now in the Gulf of Mexico. You see some of those rain bands right there along the Big Bend of Florida coming up on the Gulf Coast, and those clouds are also making their way in, and that's going to continue here overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. And as Cristobal approaches a little bit more as we get into the early portion of the week, we're going to increase our rain chances. Monday right now looks to be the best chance for some rain and gusty winds. Some of that, though, is going to linger into Tuesday. After that, we really dry out, and I think the end portion of the week is really going to be pretty nice and dry with lots of blue sky and sunshine. I've got your full first alert forecast and a look at that 7-day coming up in just a bit. Cash.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Organizers from the Starkville Stand Up March wanted participants to know there's another powerful way to use their voice: voting. As WCBI's Tyler Hull shows us, the group sure those in attendance got registered, or made sure rather.
The organizers of Stand Up Starkville say they wanted their event to be more than a protest for one day. They wanted to signify progress and encourage those who came to march to register to vote. The group had voter registration tables at Unity Park and the MSU Amphitheater. Letitia Butler came with her family in honor of those who paved the way so she would have the right to vote.
I mean, it means a lot to me to know that my grandparents, their parents stood and marched, and so that we would have the right to vote, my family here. And so it just means a lot to not only be a part of this march today, but also to be active in helping others to get registered to vote so that we can make a change when it comes time for election, not just on a national stage, but also on a local and state level.
Alexis Millens helped organize the voter registration for the event. She says people need to know that every vote is important.
You can't be doubtful. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. We're not here to tell you who to vote for or who not to vote for, but you need to have faith. That matters. It does.
The message carried over to the rally where there were more voter registration tables.
If you want change, you have to vote for it. If you want to make a change, make it happen. You have a chance to do it. You have time.
For more information on how to register to vote, you can visit our website at WCBI.com. Tyler Hull, WCBI News.
At the end of the march, there was one last big push encouraging everyone who has not registered to vote to do so. Well, as protests continue around the state and country demanding criminal justice reform, the City of Columbus is providing an opportunity for residents to let their voices be heard in the upcoming town hall meeting. Tuesday, June 9th, a live conference will be held to discuss policing in Columbus, Mississippi. Now, the hour-and-a-half meeting will be broadcasted on Facebook Live, featuring live question and answer with experts such as the local NAACP, the Justice for Ricky Ball organization, and the Columbus Police Department. The live conference will begin again on Tuesday, June 9th at 5:30 p.m. As conversations about racial injustice continue, many say it's a fitting time to take down Mississippi's state flag. Mississippi is the only state flag that still includes the Confederate battle emblem. Courtney Ann Jackson explains the growing push for a flag change.
This Move On petition is calling for the removal of the Confederate emblem from Mississippi's state flag. It's garnered thousands of signatures in the last several days as the nation has more conversations about race relations. But it turns out it's not a new petition.
Created this petition almost 5 years ago, actually, in the wake of the Charleston massacre at Mother Emanuel AME. Actually didn't do anything to get it restarted.
Dr. Jennifer Gunner is a Jackson native, now living in South Carolina. She hopes her home state can make the change, but makes this note.
Recent months have shown us that after you bring the symbol down, you have to fight the system. so that this is just a step. This is not an end game.
Separately, there's growing support on social media for making a switch to the Stennis flag. The social accounts posting these actions that people can take. Another Mississippi native, Duvalier Malone, calling on the governor to take executive action to remove the flag.
That flag represents hate. It represents intolerance. And there is no place for that in this current environment. And I think keeping the flag, all it does is it ignites another match on that fire of hate that we're trying to calm down all across America.
Malone is also calling on the governor to denounce the Robert E. Lee and Confederate Memorial State holidays to move towards racial healing. As a reminder, in 2001, Mississippi residents voted to keep the flag's current design. Governor Reeves has previously pointed to that vote, saying if ever a change, it should be done by a vote of the people and not unilateral action by the governor. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
In other news, it's been a concern for state health officials. COVID-19 in a daycare, even when all of the guidelines are followed. That's what happened in Lowndes County. Vibrant Church says a child in the Kids Academy tested positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson with Kids Academy says this is after a teacher recently tested positive for the virus. As soon as the teacher tested positive, she says parents were immediately notified and the teacher has been in self-quarantine. CDC protocols were quickly moved into action. The spokesperson says it's not known how either person may have come in contact with the virus. She says the child was experiencing only minor symptoms. A boil water notice has been issued for the town of Shuqualak. Please boil all water for at least 1 minute before drinking or cooking. The notice is standard safety precaution after a loss of pressure. The notice will last until results come back from the Mississippi Department of Health. Well, today is the anniversary of D-Day. We speak to a local veteran who served on that historical day. When we come back, stay with us.
With Cash Matlock.
Welcome back, everyone. 76 years ago today, the Allied troops invaded the coast of Normandy. Thousands of troops died on D-Day, and many of their fellow soldiers still have those memories. Our Savannah Gato talked to a World War II veteran who fought during D-Day. Savannah?
Cash, Bradford Freeman is a man of few words, but the stories he shared are unforgettable, ranging from how he joined the Bear troops to how he got to reunite with a boy he met during the war.
When we went there, it was sad. We had Americans volunteering to leave. They made you sick.
94-year-old Bradford Freeman remembers well serving in World War II, particularly his role in Normandy on D-Day. He recalls being dropped in a cow pasture and meeting a young boy and their exchange.
We asked him if we had any candy, if we usually had a little candy. If we had candy, we give it to the children. And I don't know, that was a great thing with the children. And I asked him, I said, did you get any candy? And he says, candy.
Freeman says when a doctor came to offer help to him and his friend, he made sure his fellow soldier was taken care of first.
He come over and went to cutting on my britches leg. I told him, I'm from the South, boy, I'll freeze to death. Get over there and take care of him. He was crying because he was hurting. I wasn't, really. I wasn't working because it didn't hit no bone or nothing. Just got a leader into.
Memories from long ago that continue to make Freeman proud of his service.
Several years later, Freeman went back to Europe to visit, and he told me how he met the same boy that he met in the cow pasture, and that little boy is now 81 years old.
You're taking a live look down on the Gulf Coast from Biloxi, where they're already feeling the impacts from Tropical Storm CRISTOBAL. I'll tell you exactly what we can expect from the storm coming up in my first alert forecast. That's right after this. Stay with us.
With meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
A lot nicer weather-wise today than we were yesterday. We had all those showers and storms to deal with last night. Luckily, lots of sunshine through the area today. Hopefully you were able to get outside and enjoy it because there are some changes coming up to our forecast. Let's take a look at what's coming up here on the next couple of days. really tomorrow going to be much of the same as today. Warm, breezy, and sunny to begin with at least. But we are watching Tropical Storm CRISTOBAL. That's going to increase our rain chances for Monday, where we're also going to have to deal with some breezy winds. And some of those showers will also linger through the day on Tuesday. So quiet for tomorrow, but more weather is on the way next week. Here's a live look outside from the Alpha Insurance Camera Network. Columbus looking pretty good, just a few clouds out there. Same story in Louisville. For our friends in Tupelo and Vernon, things looking pretty nice over there as well. Anywhere from the upper 80s to low 90s depending on where you are, but that humidity is really making it feel warm out there. Some folks have felt as hot as 100 degrees through the afternoon today. Tonight, though, not going to feel like 100. We're going to feel more like 70. It is going to be fairly muggy, though, and the clouds are going to start to increase as that tropical storm gets closer and closer to us. There's already some clouds filtering into the south along I-20, and those are going to slowly make their way into our area overnight tonight and also through the day tomorrow. Light winds tonight generally out of the east-southeast at about 3 to 7 miles an hour. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, a really nice day for us. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. I think more clouds in the afternoon, though, as, again, Tropical Storm CRISTOBAL filtering in here. Highs right around 90, hot and humid once again. Good news is I think most of your Sunday is going to be dry. I do think we're going to have to watch late in the day after sunset. That's when some of those outer bands from the storm are going to start to filter in here. And really, that's going to be our main talking point here for the next several days. Here's the current setup with what is going on with Tropical Storm CRISTOBAL. Not hard to spot it there, spinning right in the Gulf of Mexico. Notice, though, most of the convection is there on the east side of the storm. So all the heavy rain, all the wind is going to be on the east side of the storm. Keep that in mind here in just a little bit. Right now, max winds 50 miles an hour, pressure down to 994 millibar, and it's moving at a fairly quick pace for what most hurricanes and tropical storms do, off to the north at about 12 miles an hour. On that current trajectory, looking like it is going to make landfall here. Let's see if I can go back, hit that one too fast. There we go. Looking like we're going to make landfall along the Louisiana coastline tomorrow afternoon. And then the center of the storm is going to go to our west. But remember, I just told you the heavy rain and the wind is on the east side of the storm. So that is going to put us in a position where we're going to have to deal with some of that heavy rain and wind. There's the graphic you just saw for a second. Let's go back to it. Tropical storm warnings in effect anywhere from Pensacola, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, all the way over through the Mississippi Gulf Coast, through New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And again, that is because even though the center of the storm is going to make landfall somewhere down to the south of Baton Rouge, all of that heavy rain is going to be on the east side. So if you've got a beach trip planned here in the next couple of days for Gulf Shores or Orange Beach, you're going to have to deal with some of that heavy rain and wind. We're going to have to deal with some of it here as well. Take a look at this, our rainfall forecast as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. As we've added everything up, it's looking like anywhere from under an inch to over 3 inches in some spots. Now this has the highest amounts targeted right over Starkville, but really it's going to depend on where the storm ends up. If that storm ends up just a little bit further to the west, these heavier amounts are going to be closer to I-55. I really think the highest rain amounts are going to be closer to I-55, but really anybody could see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain as we get through next week. Also, we're going to have to deal with some gusty winds. This is our Futurecast model for Monday as the storm comes in here. There's the center, but notice all those winds on the east side. So we're going to be talking about wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour in addition to that heavy rain through the day on Monday. Here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Sunday, tomorrow, again, looking pretty decent. A mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures close to 90. Monday and Tuesday, I think, is our wettest days with temperatures just a little bit cooler thanks to all that rain. Wednesday, some isolated showers and storms, but after that, we dry out through the end of the week. That allows us to warm back up into the upper 80s by next weekend.
Coming up, more on a golf tournament in Louisville. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. A golf tournament in Louisville honors the life of a man killed in a car crash last year. Family and friends of Joshua Reed hosted the tournament today to raise money for a scholarship named in his honor. Reed was killed in a car crash last year. He says helping young people in their community is one way to remember him and let his spirit live on.
Well, Joshua was a very selfless person. He always thought of others, and I think that today we raised so much money that will benefit someone else in their educational opportunities, and I think Joshua would be very proud of that.
Joshua worked as a lineman for Starkville Utilities. All of the proceeds from the tournament will be donated to the Joshua Reed Memorial Lineman Scholarship Fund. The scholarship will be awarded yearly to a student that is pursuing a career as a lineman. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Trevor will have a final look at weather. Stay with us.
Your Sunday overall looking pretty nice. Enjoy it while you can because those tropical rain showers are going to move in late Sunday through the day on Monday and stick around basically through Tuesday. Also some gusty winds mixed in there up to 40 miles an hour at times. An isolated shower or storm on Wednesday, but after that we dry out and warm back up.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Yep. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.